morning. You join us very early. It was a terrible, terrible time to be up this early on day two. We've switched tactics slightly. We've just got the rods out. We're fishing in open water now, and the weather's changed. It's drizzly. We've had a bit of cloud cover, not really stalking conditions, and usually first thing in the morning you'll tend to find fish out in open water anyway. That's where we've seen them. We haven't been fishing during the night because we're not allowed to retain fish on CEMEX venues, so it'd be pointless catching a fish and not being able to show you guys. So we've just put the rods out just now. We're fishing, as I said, in open water. We've had a lead around. It's deep, it's weedy, and we've just had a feel around trying to find some clear spots. We've got a spot each, put out 3 or 4 spods, a few catapults of boilies here and there, and we've got fishing. So we'll go back to the swim now and we'll have a look at our location. Okay, so let's just tell you a bit about the spots we're fishing. Now you've got an area which is, you've got a few options going on.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a margin spot and a sort of open water area. I like the open water area. Beyond me there's weed, heavy, thick weed, running up towards the island. But then I found an area that I'm getting a bit of a donk down, a little bit of a drag on the tip. It's not a big clear area, and there's some diffuse weed there, so I'm fishing sticks on that. But I think that could be quite a good tactic. And then I potentially got a spot to the left-hand side of the swim on the margin, which I've been putting bait in yesterday and into the evening and a bit last night and trickling in. No fish on it at the moment, but I can keep an eye on it, and if fish start appearing there, I can cast across to it comfortably.
Right.
I've got it all clipped up.
And that is our favourite old day spot, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see whether it's still good. I mean, you've caught them out of 22, which was another old favourite, so hopefully they'll get in there later on.
Good to see.
Do you think it's a possible advantage on somewhere that's busy and pressured to fish an area that, as you said, has got a bit of straggly weed on it rather than a blatant clear spot?
I think you've got to imagine that the fish get very spooked on spots they get caught on over and over, and as anglers we tend to go in the same old spots, you know, your comfortable cast. So yeah, picking areas that are a bit unusual, a bit of a different distance, like 35 yards out of there is a funny old spot to fish, but a friend of mine sort of said I'll try it because I've had a few from a bit of a bump out there, and you know, you think, oh,
cool.
That's worth a go.
Inside information is always good if you can get it, guys, definitely. And are you putting sticks on because of the possibility of weed, just to make sure you're presented?
A better presentation. I'm confident I can cast it out, and if it lands in a bit of weed, you're always fishing in, aren't you?
Right, okay. And what about your actual rig? Are you fishing the same as you would in the edge? Or
I've tweaked things slightly, Adam. I've gone for a slightly longer hook link just because I think there might be a bit of weed on the bottom. In the margins, when you're putting it virtually on concrete, you can place a very short hook link confidently, but out there, a little bit of claggy stuff on the bottom, so I've extended the hook link a little bit, maybe 15, 20 centimetres. Okay. And I've got a bottom bait, boilie on, and a claw rig set up.
Right, okay. Drop off lead?
No, not out there. Okay. Yeah, sorry, yes, I have. Yeah,
right, okay, so because of the weed and, right. Okay, my area is a little bit further out than Simon's just because I couldn't find anything that was remotely clearing close. I've got an area about 50 yards out towards the middle of the pond, and I found that by casting around with just a bare lead on the marker rod. And as you'll know well, mate, I mean, fishing with a marker float, trying to find a clear spot in thick weed. Yeah,
I mean, it's all well and good saying, oh, I'll go and plumb a swim up, but you know, when it's really like that, you're struggling to get the float to come up through the weed, it gets tangled. So exactly. Stick a lead on, it'll help you find areas that are clearer, which you can then focus in on with a marker float.
Definitely, that's right. So just put a bare lead on, guys, a 2-ounce lead or something like that. When you find a spot that feels nice, then you can clip it up. Remember what your skyline markers are, and then when you're happy, you can put a marker float on and get it up. So that's what I've done. The spot's about 10 foot deep, and I've got a very nice drop on it. It feels nice and firm and clean. I've put a few spods out there of the hemp and maple pea mixture, plugged the spod with a bit of breadcrumb to get some cloud in the water, and I've got a rod side by side on that at the moment. My rigs are a bit different to what I use in the edge, insofar as I'm using anti-tangle tubing, some heavy tungsten tubing to hold everything on the bottom. I've got a lead on a clip set to come off nice and quickly, and lastly I'm fishing with quite tight clutches and tightish lines, because if I hook a fish, the weed's thick, I want it to come out high in the water early on in a fight. You know, if you're fishing in thick weed and you let a fish take a load of line while you're in a bivvy or something, you probably won't land it. It's bad angling. So I'm fishing with locked up clutches, a few bleeps, I'm on the rod, hopefully the lead will come off, and hopefully we'll get the fish in if we get a bite. So it's looking good, mate. I'm confident. You've seen fish behind you bubbling up there.
Definitely fish over your spot as well.
Yeah,
come on, fish.
Let's get a cup of tea and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, first bite from the open water. It's the left-hand rod on a balanced boilie. A little white wafter right in the middle of the patch. And the bite was, you know, it just pulled up tight, as I was saying, and the fish came up high. I'm sure the lead's come off, and now I've got him halfway back towards me, and he went under my other line, and while I was sorting that out, he's gone into weed, which is, he is still moving slowly, thank goodness. So just going to keep the pressure on. I'm going to walk backwards, actually keep him coming, see if I can keep him out of this. I can see some fizz coming up where he's bedded down. That's it, he's moving now. Right, he's moving, so I'm going to wind down quickly, gain some line. Mr. Carp, you come to my rescue. Thank you, mate.
How you doing?
He's moving.
Good. Feel like a good one?
Yeah, he does, but I'm not sure how much. It's making my arm ache, but I think he's probably got a lot of weed round him. He's just plodding slowly.
5 pounders would make your arm ache, Adam.
Yeah. He's slowly coming in, which is good news.
Did he get in the weed?
He did briefly when I got the line tangled up with the other rod, and I had to slacken off moment just for a second, and he was in it. Otherwise, I think I could have kept him out all the way, but he came out with a bit of pressure.
Which bait was that one on, Adam?
This was on the little white squid wafter.
Really?
That really stinks terrible. I didn't expect this one to go, actually. I thought it was going to be the one on the stick with the small hook bait that we've both been using.
The more subtle trap.
Yeah.
Was it wafted rather than popped up?
Yeah, it's, the hook sits flat on the bottom and the boilie just sort of floats above it.
Very sneaky, but I'd expect nothing less from you.
Cheers, mate. Oh, he's up and high in the water now, sending up a nice boil. We're using thick, strong line, both of us, aren't we, mate?
Yeah.
And I remember I asked you in the early days when we came up here, why are they fighting so hard? I couldn't understand it because I noticed it, and you said that you thought it had an unusually high oxygen content.
Yeah, I think with all the weed and the water clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full of oxygen. I think there's a lot of water moves through the gravel up here. Not sure it's a common.
No? Oh, it's not, it's a mirror. I have no idea why I thought that was a common.
It's a very unusual common. It's one of those mirror scale commons.
There you go, mate, you got him. Well done.
Lovely job.
Well done,
fella. Beautiful fish.
Whew, what an epic battle.
That is an absolute cracker, Adam.
Well, there you go, a 23-pound mirror carp. No idea why I thought this was a common, but it goes to prove I'm not an early morning person. Left-hand rod with the little white boilie setup that I spoke about. Scrapped well in the weed. Simon came and rescued me and netted him, and there's still fish out there. There's fish about, so going to get the rods back and sorted. I've got nothing in the water at the moment because he picked up my other line, so I'm going to do some quick pictures of this corker with Simon and then get the rods sorted out.